On this episode, we are going to talk about 5 vehicle models, and if you own any of these models, you need to watch out for these problems that we are going to talk about. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Auto Konnekt, and taking you through this list of 5 common brands with 5 unique problems. I'll be your host, Eric Wakabi, Eric with a CK. And remember, you can follow me at a personal level on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, and TikTok as well. Now let's get up close and candid with these problems so that you, the car buyer, can be aware before you buy any of these models. Number 1 on our list is Peugeot. Peugeots are becoming accepted in the Kenyan car market space once more. And this is because, one, they are affordable, they are very economical on fuel, they look trendy and fashionable, and they also give an aspect of performance. However, the problem that we are going to talk about is affecting Peugeot owners even within the first 1 year of ownership. And that problem is excessive oil consumption. This problem mainly affects the Peugeots with the 1200cc 3-cylinder turbocharged engines or the 1200cc 3-cylinder naturally aspirated engine. So the reason why this problem mainly occurs is because these Peugeots with the 1200cc 3-cylinder engines have what is called a wet timing system. This means that the timing belt is submerged in the oil, and as the timing belt wears out, the fragments of the belt contaminate the oil, and this in turn clogs the oil galleries. And what this means is that after some time, the engine is going to be starved of oil. And so when an engine is starved on oil, piston rings wear out, valve seals are going to wear out, and you're going to have excessive oil consumption. And this is a very common problem. So the preventive measure for this is when you're importing a Peugeot that is above 60,000 kilometers in mileage, it is advised that you change the timing belt the soonest you can to avoid this clogging of the oil galleries, which can in turn cost you an engine overhaul or another engine. The other thing is that most Peugeots with the 1200cc 3-cylinder engines, once they undergo an engine overhaul, most of the time they will bring up an oil pressure problem. So if you own a Peugeot, there are so many support groups around. You can join them, and also you can contact the Peugeot experts. We are going to provide some contacts for Peugeot experts in the description below. Number 2 on our list is Nissan, and it would be quite odd if Nissan was not on this list. Nissan is mostly synonymous with transmission problems, but kindly hear me out on this. Not all Nissans are prone to this problem. In fact, we have some very good Nissans on our roads today, the Nissan NV200s, and even bigger Nissans like the Nissan Terra, and even the Nissan Serena e-Power, the Nissan Note e-Power, both E12 and E13. So this problem mainly affects some variants of these Nissans, and these are Nissans with either the Xtronic CVT gearbox and their hybrid counterparts. Kindly note that e-Power and S-Hybrid in Nissan are 2 different variants. So with e-Power, we have the engine as a generator to power up the battery pack, which in turn drives the electric motor. And that means these Nissans that have or are built through an e-Power configuration, they do not utilize the traditional Xtronic CVT gearbox, and this is what makes them more reliable, since their gearbox or their transmission is what is called the 1-speed gearbox, and it is quite reliable, I must say, because it's like the drivetrain of an electric vehicle, only having the engine as a generator. However, the S-Hybrid Nissans have a very problematic gearbox, because the S-Hybrid is basically your conventional hybrid that has, and means the gearbox has to split the power from the engine and also the power from the battery pack. And Nissan, in their S-Hybrid gearbox, some technology there brought so many problems to people who buy these cars as locally used. Now let's talk about the broader Xtronic CVT. The Xtronic CVT has also been a center of debate globally, and there have been numerous lawsuits against Nissan because of some problems associated with the Xtronic CVTs. So if you're buying a Nissan X-Trail T32, whether the non-hybrid or the S-hybrid, it is likely that you're going to encounter a problem with your transmission. However, there are some few lucky people who have owned some of these Nissans with the Xtronic CVT transmission, and they have lived with these cars over a long period of time, and this is because of meticulous servicing. However, the S-hybrid ones are quite unpredictable, and we have the S-hybrid on the Nissan X-Trail S-hybrid and the Nissan Serena S-hybrid. So if you want to enjoy the hybrid benefits of a Nissan, enjoy it from an e-power configuration and not from an S-hybrid configuration. Mmeelewa tofauti? So e-power, tick. S-hybrid. Number 3, Volkswagen Audi EA111 engine. Now this is an engine that is loved by many Volkswagen Audi purists, and it has been used across so many models of Volkswagen and Audi as well. However, the main problem, or the most conspicuous problem with the EA111 is water pump failure. And water pump failure in this engine is more or less a routine maintenance issue or a wear and tear issue. However, it is hastened by corrosion, often related to coolant being in the car for extended periods of time, or even using water as a coolant. Number 4 is Subaru, and to be specific, models with the FA20 engine. The FA20 is a flat 4 turbocharged engine that is hailed for power. It is also hailed for one common problem, and this has given it a very bad reputation in the Kenyan car market. That problem is the lower knock, or the rod knock. However, this engine has been known to be very sensitive to oil. So if you use improper engine oil on the FA20, it's going to last a very, very, very short time. In fact, oil is one of the main problems why we are experiencing such bad reviews with the FA20. However, it is still a sensitive engine, even if you get reviews globally about that particular engine. The other reason why these FA20s tend to fail so much is because Kenyans have a tendency of revving the cars very hard when the engines are still cold, and this in a way contributes to the failing of these engines. Before we get to number 5 on our list, and by the way, we do have a bonus, I would like to remind you that we offer services such as pre-purchase inspection, consultation, direct importation, and also local sourcing. You can reach out to us through the number in the description, or you can also join our WhatsApp community. The link is in the description as well. And so, number 5, Honda hybrids. Honda is known for building very reliable hybrid systems. However, in 2014, something happened. Honda wanted to make their hybrid cars more fun to drive. And this is because hybrids have always been known or been perceived to be boring to drive. So what they did, they introduced a new technology which they called Sport Hybrid. And at the backbone of the Sport Hybrid technology was a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Yes, it did work out. In fact, Honda hybrids, especially the Vezel, the Fit, and some other few like the Grace, are very fun to drive. But the Honda Fit hybrid and the Honda Vezel hybrid in the Kenyan market have been marred with a dual clutch transmission failure. However, this problem is not only isolated to our Kenyan car market. In fact, even in the global market, in 2014, the Honda Fit hybrid and the Honda Vezel hybrids were recalled because of an issue with the software of the dual clutch transmission. And what happened, there was a software glitch that was making gears not to engage or not to change, or even in sometimes consistent jerking. So this problem has been synonymous with a few Honda hybrids, especially with the Fit and the Vezel, even here in Kenya. And it's hard to tell, since we are a third world country importing 7-year, 8-year-old used vehicles from overseas, it's quite hard to tell whether these vehicles went for the recall and were actually rectified. So that is why even today we still continue to witness problems with Honda's DCT transmission. But you will note that the largest number is for Honda models between, especially the feet and the vessel, between 2014 to 2016. Sawa sawa? Now it's time to go for the bonus. And the bonus, Toyota. Yes, beware, Toyota owner. Toyotas are known to be very reliable, but there has been one common problem happening, especially in the Kenyan car market. And that problem is theft. Yes, theft. Toyota Axios, Fielders, Vitz, Probox, they can either steal the whole car or they vandalize your car. So always make sure that your car is parked in safe places, you have a good comprehensive insurance, and you have also added safety or anti-theft features to your Toyota. I hope this has been an insightful episode. I've been your host, Eric Wakabi, Eric with a CK. Remember, you can follow AutoKonnekt on our social media platforms, AutoKonnekt on Facebook and Instagram, also TikTok, AutoKonnekt Kenya, Automotive Excellence. Also, take some time to join our WhatsApp channel. The link is in the description below. Tell us, what are some other problems that you may know that are common with some car brands, common in the Kenyan car marketplace?